So, today we're going to dive into something really special. It's called the Sama-Chakwa Legend, a beautiful folk festival from the Mithila region of Bihar. And what's amazing about it is how it weaves together myth, nature, and community all into one.
Okay, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine this. Every autumn in eastern India, you see young women gathering together and they're all carrying these baskets filled with colorful little clay birds. It's a really curious sight, right? So what's it all about? Why are they doing this?
Well, what they're doing is telling a story, an ancient story. You can think of it as a kind of living theater, where they bring to life this powerful myth about injustice, about the incredible loyalty between a brother and sister, and, in the end, about redemption.
All right, so to really get what this festival is all about, we have to go back to the beginning. We need to understand the myth that's at the very heart of it all, the legend of Sama.
So, the story kicks off with our main character, a young woman named Sama. And according to the local oral traditions in Mithila, she was none other than the daughter of the god Krishna.
Now, this is where the trouble starts. Sama gets falsely accused of doing something wrong. And this isn't based on any truth, you know? It's all just slander, a lie spread by a jealous person. It's a classic story of how rumors and malice can cause so much damage.
And her father, Krishna, he gets so enraged by this false story that he does something terrible. He curses his own daughter, transforming her into a bird. Just think about that. It's this awful punishment that really shows the tragic consequences of jumping to conclusions.
But here's our hero, Sama's brother, Chakwa. He sees what's happened and he absolutely refuses to accept it. He's devastated, of course, but he's also determined. He knows his sister is innocent, and he makes it his mission to prove it.
And through just an incredible amount of effort and devotion, Chakwa finally manages to make his father see the truth. The curse is broken. Sama becomes human again, her name is cleared, and her honor is restored. It's a perfect example of loyalty triumphing over lies.
So, when you boil it all down, this myth is really about a few key things. It's a huge warning about how destructive false accusations can be. It's a beautiful celebration of that unwavering bond between siblings. And it gives us this hopeful message that, with enough devotion, truth will win out and redemption is possible. Okay, so that's the story. But how does this ancient myth get turned into a living, breathing festival that people still celebrate today? Let's take a look at how the people of Mithila actually bring this legend to life year after year.
Well, it unfolds in a few key steps. First, young girls get their hands dirty and craft these little clay figures of all the main players, Sama, her brother Chakwa, and the other birds. Then, for about a week, they get together every single evening, bringing these figures with them in bamboo baskets. And this is the real heart of it. They sing these traditional folk songs that tell the whole story of Sama's suffering and Chakwa's devotion. And finally, on the very last day, they take the clay figures to a river and immerse them in the water, which symbolizes that happy reunion and the end of the whole ordeal.
But this festival is so much more than just acting out a story. It has these really fascinating, deeper connections to nature and to the social life of the Mithila region. This is where it gets really interesting. First off, the timing is no accident. The festival happens in late autumn, and that's exactly when huge flocks of migratory birds arrive in the area. In fact, many people believe the names Sama and Chakwa actually come from the names of local birds. So you see, this human story is directly tied to the rhythms of the natural world. How cool is that? And that whole bird thing, it's hugely symbolic. In this part of the world, being turned into a bird in a story often stands for a period of exile, or a kind of moral test. So, when Sama is transformed, it's not just some random magical thing. It's a powerful symbol of her unjust suffering and how she was cast out from her community. Okay, and here's another really fascinating part. Who actually performs this ritual? Think about it. So many public ceremonies are led by men, right? But not this one. Sama-Chakwa is almost entirely a female affair. It's the young girls and women who organize it, perform it, and pass it down through the generations. And this points to something incredibly important. In a society that can be quite patriarchal, these nightly gatherings create this rare, special public space just for women. It's a place where they can sing, they can share stories, and they can really strengthen their friendships and community bonds. It's almost like an informal cultural school, where all these important traditions and values get passed on to the younger girls.
All right, let's zoom out a little bit. How does Sama-Chakwa fit into the bigger picture? How does it connect to other art forms? Or how does it stack up against other festivals? And what does it look like in the modern world? Well, for one thing, the story's influence goes way beyond just the festival itself. If you've ever seen the famous Madhubani paintings from that region, also called Mithila paintings, you'll often see scenes from this very legend. So the story is kept alive not just in song, but in this incredible, vibrant visual art too.
A good way to see what makes this festival so unique is to compare it to a sibling festival that a lot more people know about, Raksha Bandhan. Now, both are about the bond between siblings, for sure, but they are really different. Sama-Chakwa, as we've seen, is mainly for young women. It's based on this very specific myth, it uses clay birds, and it has that amazing connection to nature. All of that really makes it stand out.
So, what about right now, today? Well, like so many traditions in a rapidly changing world, it's adapting. In the cities, you might see it pop up as part of a school event. Meanwhile, out in the villages, it's still going strong in its more traditional form. And the good news is, people are really starting to recognize how important it is. There are more and more efforts to preserve it, to document the songs and the stories as a vital piece of cultural heritage.
So, when you look at the whole picture, Sama-Chakwa is just this incredible blend of things. It's a story that teaches us about justice and loyalty, but it's also a community ritual, and it's even tied to the seasons and nature. It's all of that rolled into one. It's a tradition that's not just a dusty old story, it is very much alive.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? Through simple clay birds and ancient songs, the people of Mithila keep their story breathing. And it kind of makes you wonder, what are the living stories, the seasonal rhythms that are still breathing in your own community?